And today's class is brings everything home, right? It brings everything together. So there are two verses that Srila Prabhupada discusses today, verse 43 and verse 44. I'm going to read out the verse 43, the translation of verse 43. The verse 43 says, "The yogis equipped with transcendental knowledge and renunciation and engaged in devotional service for their eternal benefit take shelter at my lotus feet. And since I am the Lord, they are thus eligible to enter into the kingdom of Godhead without fear."
Mataji,
And
can you put it on a screen? So it's
Mataji, I'm going to speak more because there's so many verses, there's so many paragraphs over here that is going to be hard to share screen and to speak from them. So I have my notes and I'm going to speak from them. So a lot of what I'm going to speak is from the stories so that way it sticks, right? There's a lot of philosophy that gets discussed, and at the end of the day, we are like, okay, today's class is over. Let's go ahead and do our regular stuff, right? So I want to be able to, share some stories so that way the teachings really stick to us. When I read this about, entering the kingdom of Godhead, the first person that I always think about is Tukaram, right? Tukaram actually went back to Godhead in his physical body, right? His body was so pure that the plane from Vaikuntha came and he went back. And I thought it was so timely to talk about Tukaram because, we are in Shravan Mas. We just had the Ashadi Ekadashi, which is a very auspicious Ekadashi. And it is so good to glorify him. And as we talk about him, we can, talk about so many points that Lord Kapila is sharing with his mother, right? So again, how did we reach chapter 18? And I specifically feel that this chapter, the essence, is or this whole teaching is very much targeted towards women, right? Towards the mother, towards Devahuti, who is the mother of Kapila. And typically we see within Bhagavatam and all, the teachings are more directed towards the men. But this is the first, I think there's also when Parikshit Maharaj instructs his mother, I've seen that, there's instruction for a woman or, right? And this is one of the I think one of the two that I've seen where there's instruction, especially for women, because we have this all attachment, right? My home, my husband, my kids, my career, my money. We all have all of that. And what happens is Devahuti, when she's married to Kadama Muni, he sees that, oh, she's serving me in this forest and she's so fragile. So he builds this big, magnificent airplane, which is actually a big building, right? It's a building of about 8, 9 floors. There are lakes within it. There are birds. There are thousands of maidservants, and they're actually going around, everywhere in the world. There's no place that this plane cannot go, and they basically have a good life over there for 100 years. So typically, people go on honeymoon for 2 months, but this is a 100-year honeymoon, right? And afterwards, when what happens is when Devahuti gets pregnant with the 9 children, right? 9 women. And these 9 girls are then married off to the rishis, which are, actually, if we trace back, we go back to any temple and we say, oh, I am this Vaunshi. They always ask, who's your Vaunsh? And we say, oh, some people say, oh, I'm Kashyap. People say something else. So if you actually trace back all of these 9 females that Kardama Muni had, they were married to different great rishis like Kardama, they were Kashyap, they were married to Atreya Muni, and lot of other sages they were married to. And we all come from that lineage, right? Typically in Indian culture, when we are marrying also, they it's called Gotra, right? When if you are from the same Gotra, they don't marry each other. So you have to be different families. So these people like Kardama Muni, Devahuti, they're so important. They are our great grandfathers. So we come from them, right? Um, the other thing that I wanted to mention is then after the 9 daughters are married off, then they have Kapila Muni. And what Kardama has told Devahuti is when you're going to have this child, basically he knows, Kardama Muni knows that a ray of God is going to be born to him. And so when Kapila is born, then he basically, goes away, he renounces. And Devahuti at that time is fearful. She tells him that, my husband, you're such a great sage, and I've been with you for, we've enjoyed for over 100 years. but I just missed the opportunity of asking you the right questions, right? Asking you a question about how I can get liberated, how I can come out of this cycle of birth and death, right? She's fearful that now everything is going to go away. So then, at that time, Kapila starts directing her, and that's all the 18 chapters we have studied so far, right? We have studied about all the different instructions that Kapila is giving to his mother. So really, I felt that that was really, very relevant to us as women, and I see a lot of women on this forum as well. Um, and like why I wanted to talk about this story, even if we probably know about this, is because we read all these chapters and we hear them, and at the end we forget what it is all about, right? What was it all about? Where did it all started? So this, when we call upon as the essence of everything, is really bringing it home, bringing together all of the essence. Like what happened? How do we kind of um, condense it into something very small that we all can drink and then we can take it with us, right? Um, so, like I was mentioning in the first word, they're talking about entering the kingdom of Godhead. So I wanted to talk about Tukaram, right, and give examples of Tukaram and how that really is devotional service. This whole chapter is about devotional service. So at the end of it, it all comes together by devotional service. So Tukaram Maharaj, who is a sage in Maharashtra, he is a disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he says that, oh, Chaitanya Baba initiated me in my dreams, right? So if you see all of the Varkari Sampradaya, and I come from Pandharpur area from Maharashtra, they don't sing the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So our Hare Krishna Mahamantra is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. But what they sing is Jai Jai Ram Krishna Hari, right? Because these were all villagers. They were very they felt the mantra was too complicated, so they just chanted Ram Krishna Hari. They all wear kanthi, like we do. They water tulsi, and their lifestyle or their sampradaya, the Varkari sampradaya, is almost similar to what we follow, right? um, so this Tukaram Maharaj was a spontaneous poet. It was not like, you see the poets these days, they compile poems, they start writing poems, then they scratch, they delete. So Tukaram Maharaj didn't do that, right? He was a spontaneous poet. And, there are so many teachings that we can take from him. One is about envy, right? So we all understand that we all were with God. Every religion talks about that. We all were in the spiritual world, and then we fall down, right? We fall down and we fall down into the material world. And when we come to the material world, there are two qualities of this material world. It's Dukhalayam and Ashashvatam, right? So what does Dukhalayam means? It's full of miseries, and Ashashvatam means nothing is guaranteed. So you may have something today, and tomorrow you may not have it, right? And Padopadi Vipada, there is always some kind of problem in here, right? It's a prison house. We are kept in this prison house. So, but why do we fall down, right? The main reason we fall down is we're envious. So it's not even that we're jealous of Krishna or we are angry at Krishna. We are just envious. Envy means that we want to become God. We want to become Krishna. We want to become God. And what we do is we basically, start becoming envious of him. And once we become envious of him, we fall down. And the same thing happens to us in this material world, right? Even you might have the BMWs of the world, you might have the Teslas of the world. When we see somebody with a Porsche or something else, we people get envious, right? Or you might be at a senior director, you might be at a very good position at work, but you see somebody having more money, more fame, more beauty. There is envy, there is jealousy, right? And as long as we're going to have that, there is no way that we can go back to Godhead, right? So how do we? I think I'd spoken one time about the qualities of a devotee. First quality is nirmatsya, nirahankar, right? Nirmatsya. So he's unenvious of anybody and everybody. And how do you get rid of envy? See, once we see anything good in other people, right? Maybe they have more wealth, maybe they have more beauty, maybe they have something more than what you have. The only way that you can become unenvious is by thinking about that this is a blessing that they've got from God, right? Nobody can have anything in the world without the blessing of God. So they've served the Lord in some way or the other, and that's why they have been able to get this wealth, fame, whatever they have, right? It's a mere fraction of what God has. So whenever we see something good in others, always praise them. right? Oh wow, you look so well, you dance so well, you carry yourself so well, you have whatever it is, just praise them, because once you praise them, those good qualities will come to you. Because if you're envious, you're doing exactly what we have done back in spiritual world, right? And that's why we have fallen down. So the primary thing, the first step I feel in devotional service is becoming non-envious of everybody and just admiring them for their good qualities. Because you have to remember that if you're envious of anybody in the world, you're actually envious of Krishna. Because whatever you're envious of is nothing but a mere um, uh, a fraction of what Krishna has, and Krishna has given to them, right? So that was one quality about Tukaram Maharaj, that he was unenvious of everybody. And if people were envious of him, like he would basically have all of these nice abhangas, he would write all of these nice poems, he would write, and people would, there was particularly couple people within his town who would get envious of him, and they would dump his whole poems into the river and whatnot. So they used to trouble him, but he would never get offended by that, right? He would continue with what he's doing. So that's one quality of a devotee: never get envious. And if somebody is envious of you and is troubling you, they don't get offended by it. So like when we chant the holy name, right, it is we say Hari Nam, right? So Hari Nam, that Nam Prabhu is a person, right? So Krishna is a person. Also, his name, holy name, is also a person, right? This Nam Prabhu is an incarnation of Krishna, right? And in the spiritual world, when they were talking about who is going to go down and give our people, people in the material world, the holy name, the Nam Prabhu was chosen, and that's how he came down, right? And they said Tukaram Maharaj was an incarnation of this Nam Prabhu, right? Um, so when you go to the Pandharpur temple, there is a step, right? And that step is called Namachi Pairi. That means the step of Nam Prabhu, right? So would you just think about it? Would you like to be a step in a temple, right? Would you like anybody stepping on you and going into the temple? But that what was Tukaram Maharaj was. Like his step is there, right? He wants people to step on him and then go into the temple. That's how humble he is. And so, when he used to do any abhangas or kirtans or whatever, there were so many people who would come and attend, but he would be missing. And where was he? He would be outside keeping everybody's shoes together, right? That's the humility he has. So the second important quality after not being envious is being humble, right? Thinking yourself lower than the lowest, and just not taking credit for anything, right? There are so many stories about Tukaram Maharaj that we can share. One particular story I'm going to share is about his wife, right? So his wife, she was a very interesting personality, and she really did not understand Krishna. Like she understood Krishna consciousness, but she always did not like Vittal, who is, Krishna himself. She didn't like him because she used to feel, because of him, my husband is not mine anymore, right? He's so much involved in Vittal that he's not involved in his grahastha life so much. So she used to call him a black man, right? She would not even call him Vittal. She would call him Karya, like he would, like that, which means he's a black man, right? And so Tukaram Maharaj, he was a great saint, and he was very successful spiritually, but materially he was not very successful. So he would do some odd jobs. He would, work in somebody's farm. He would build fence. He would do any odd job he has, and he would barely make it for his family. Right? Most of the time, the family didn't have enough. His wife, even if she didn't like Vittal, she really had one good quality, is that she served her husband, right? And she would never eat her food without feeding her husband. So what she did was, she used to cook, and here Tukaram Maharaj would just, go on one of the hills and sit meditating, sit singing abhangas over there, right? So when that is happening, then what would happen is, if she had to climb all of these mountains, there's no way she was able to go really and find where her husband is. So that means she had to starve that day. So what she had learned is, what she would do is she would pick up a stone under a tree, under the hill, and she would put it on her ear, and then she would hear if her husband is on that hill, and when he's chanting and singing, the stone also, she would hear his sound, right? So then she knew, okay, he was on this mountain. So then she would climb the mountain up and give him his food. So one day she was climbing up the mountain, and there was a thorn that went into her feet. And when the thorn went into her feet, she, immediately Vittal came there, right? Krishna himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is there. And he told her that, can I take that thorn out? And as soon as she sees him, she says, hey, Kaya, I don't want to look at you, so she even looks away. So there's Krishna who's there, who wants to take the thorn out of her feet, and she doesn't even want to look at him, right? So she's looking away. She's looking in all different directions. She's not even looking at him. And she looks at 8 different places. She doesn't look at Krishna. But then he's begging, Vittal is begging, can I please take the thorn away? You're bleeding, you're in so much pain. I want to help you. See, that's the power of devotional service, right? That she is not even a devotee of Vittal, but she's serving the devotees. So that's the power of serving devotees. So if you're serving devotees, then even Lord, wants to be there for you, right? For anything. You don't even have to call him. She didn't even call Vittal, but he appeared there. So that's the power of serving devotees. So finally, Vitthal takes the thorn out, and she's able to go. So these are all the pastimes of Tukaram that really relate to our verse, right? Of today, of really how we can enter the kingdom of God. One of the primary thing is not being envious. And if somebody's done bad to us, whatever bad they have done to us, really thinking that this was my karma and this is the only person who's delivered that karma to me, right? Like Jiva Goswami says that all of these good people are, being doing bad to me because of my bad karma. It is our bad karma that they're delivering, right? They're actually chipping away. So these people who are behaving bad with us, who are doing ninda of us, who are criticizing us, are actually doing a favor to us. So even if they're doing bad to us, being good to them, because it's just your time. Your time is bad, and that's why even somebody is good, they're going to behave bad to you, right? So remembering that. And third thing is serving devotees, because when we serve devotees, God is happy, and He'll come and He'll be there for you, right? So these are the three things that I thought was so relevant to the verse that we are studying today. um, and like we were talking about this earlier on this call, is like we all are here in the material world, which is a prison house, right? Which is dukhalayam oshashvatam. So it's full of miseries, it's full of uncertainties, and we want to go back to Vaikuntha. And what is Vaikuntha? There is no anxiety. So what happens in Vaikuntha is people are dancing, right? Nobody's walking. Every walk is a dance. People are, they don't talk, they're singing. So when do you walk, and when do you dance, and when do you sing? When you're happy, right? So everybody is always happy. It's Vaikuntha. There is no worry, there is no stress, and it's fearlessness. People are fearless because they know that God will be there for them. Krishna will be there for them, right? So these are by practicing devotional service, what this verse is saying is spontaneously you will get knowledge and you will get renunciation, right? So these two things are automatically there. You don't have to really strive to get knowledge, or you don't have to strive to be renounced, but these things are byproducts of doing devotional service. And once you're doing this devotional service, what happens is your relationship with the God is developed. Why are we doing what we're doing, right? Like, oh, we are coming to the temple, we are attending all the artis, we're attending all the classes, we're doing this, where somebody's doing garlands, somebody is cooking, somebody is cleaning the temple floor, somebody is teaching in Sunday school, somebody is getting groceries for the God, somebody is getting donations, somebody is doing book distribution. So people are doing so many different activities, but what are they doing it for? Like, what is the end purpose of this devotional service? Is to develop that personal relationship with Krishna, right? And everybody has different relationship with God. Everybody has somebody, might like, and we see already, like, if our relationship with Krishna is not revealed to us yet, we definitely see the different relationships. Like Hanuman has a very different relationship than what the gopis of Vrindavan had, right? Hanuman is in a seva mode. Then you also have the gopis of Vrindavan who are in the Madhurya ras, right? You have Yashoda Mai. She's loving him as a child. You have Arjuna who's loving him as a friend. You have Prithu Maharaj, who is in a complete different mood. He is, he just wants to meditate on the Lord. So we all have different relationship with Lord, and the whole purpose is to make sure that we develop that relationship with God, right? And it will be revealed to us because as we chant, our mind is compared to a mirror, right? So we already have a relationship with Krishna, and every relationship with Krishna is unique. So my relationship Krishna is so unique than what each and everybody on the call, your relationship with God is. And there are so many people in the world, what, 7 billion people? They all have a unique relationship with God. Like, when a drop of snowflake that falls from the sky, every snowflake has a different property, right? Every cell has a different property. The same way everybody has a unique relationship with Krishna, and Krishna is missing that relationship. Krishna is wanting that relationship with us, right? So when we fall down into the material world because of our envy, he sends all of these different avatars. He himself comes, or he sends his people to come get us back, right? So say you have a lot of children and one of your child just rebels and leaves you from your house. Would you ever forget your child? I don't think so, right? If you know your child is in some different town, what will you do? You send people, hey, I know you're going to this town. Can you please look for my child? That's what exactly Krishna is doing. Krishna is trying to find us. And when any devotee is trying to reach you, God is trying to reach you through them, right? So we have Princeton Bhakti Vriksha, and there are so many people. The other day, I just went to a doctor, and the doctor, she was learning Bhagavad Gita verses, and she was looking for something more. And it's always amazing to see how people get connected, and Krishna lines up, the next step to come to him. Krishna says in chapter 2, Nehabhikrana nashosti pratyavayana vidyate. Like there is no loss or diminution in this step, right? If you take one step towards him, he's going to take 1,000 steps towards you. And wherever you left off, you're going to pick up from there. So um and nothing is going waste in this process. He's trying to come to us, he's trying to get us back to Godhead, but coming himself or through somebody, right? The other thing that I felt was important in this verse was fearlessness, right? Which we discussed is so important. Devotees are fearless. They know Krishna is going to come, Krishna is going to be there for them, Krishna is going to protect them. I myself have gone through so many situations, and I'm sure all of you have gone through that. We've seen, oh, Krishna was there. Krishna did this. Krishna sent this person to help me. So many instances of life, we see Krishna is so worried about you because he's a father, right? So he's worried about us. He wants to come there. He wants there to be with us. Um, yeah, I think, that's what summarizes this verse, and I'm going to read the verse again. The yogi is equipped with transcendental knowledge and renunciation and engaged in devotional service for their eternal benefit. Take shelter at my lotus feet. And since I am the Lord, they are thus eligible to enter into the kingdom without fear. So, it's practicing devotional service helps us. The byproduct of doing devotional service is we get knowledge and we get renunciation. And once we do that, once we surrender, we become eligible, right? We have to become eligible to enter into the kingdom of God. Right? And how are we becoming eligible? By practicing the qualities that we discussed, not being envious, taking anything that happens to you as I want to say, as a indication from God that is coming to you, right? So there are many, many verses. That's why we're not reading the verses actually, because if we read the verses, we'll eat up the time. So we're going to go to the next verse. The next verse says, therefore, persons whose minds are fixed on the Lord engage in the intensive practice of devotional service. That is the only means to attain the final perfection of life, right? And what really caught my attention is intensive practice, right? So we all have gone to college and we saw that it was hard. We had to focus, we had to do a lot of effort. Um, and then like I did my MBA. When I did my MBA, executive MBA, I had 2 years of focus time. Like I could not engage in so many activities because I was working, I had kids, I had to go to college, I had so much going on that I was so focused. I felt that was intensive. But actually, what this verse is saying is this devotional service is intensive, isn't it? Like, I came when I was a teenager and I'm still there, and there's so much more. There's so much more. There is not enough time in the day to do it. I see Satyamama Mataji nodding. It's intensive. It's intense, right? There is so much. after going through this fire, right? After burning like this, after doing this tapasya for this life, at the end will be rewarded, right? So don't take this lightly. We all have to be serious. We all have to dedicate our lives to be able to get that. There's no point becoming Kripa Patra of Krishna, right? So many people are Kripa Patra. We want to be the Priya Patra, right? Like we want to be his beloved, not somebody that, oh, I did mercy on this person, I did mercy on that person, right? We are his children after all. So he's merciful on us naturally, but we want to develop those good qualities. We want to become that non-envious, nirmamoha, nirmatsa, that person, that devotee with great qualities that Krishna's loving glances fall upon, right? We want to become that person. So it's an intensive practice. It takes a lot of effort to get there. Um, a lot of times I find that we devotees are like pendulum devotees, right? Like when you see the banks of an ocean, sometimes they're wet, sometimes they're dry. So that happens to us a lot, right? We sometimes feel, oh, devotional service is very important, then we go away and say, oh, maybe yoga is very important, oh, maybe doing career is very important. So we kind of get diverted. Maya is making sure that we get away from this, but staying fixed, because what this verse is saying is, therefore persons whose minds are fixed on the Lord, right? We have to fix our mind, and we know mind is very difficult to control. But like I was mentioning earlier, we all have this unique relationship with God, and that mind, right, which is our soul, is covered with all of this dust from so many lives. Once we chant the holy names of the Lord, we will slowly, slowly, slowly clean this mirror that we have, and our relationship with God will be revealed. Our as we advance in Krishna consciousness, we'll become fixed, because I think we are at a point where we can't even go back in the material world and enjoy, right? Like so many times you get invited to some party and you're like you're lost, like what is going on here? I would rather be in a temple, rather be chanting, rather be amongst devotees in kirtan doing some service, right? So we are at a point where we can't even turn back. We have to go ahead on this path, and chanting the holy name, practicing these devotional service will get us to the other side. um, Also, Prabhupada mentions in the purport about Prahlad Maharaj, and you know how Prahlad Maharaj had he was like the same quality of Tukaram Maharaj, right? He was tortured by his father. He was tortured to a great extent. He's a 5-year-old boy. He was thrown off the cliff. He was put into boiling oil. There were snakes thrown on him. Elephants marched on him. There was so much uh, ill was done to him. But he had no kind of bad feelings towards his father. When his father was killed by Narsingadev, he prays, right? He's praying for his father. The first thing Narsingadev asks is, what do you want? And he says, can you please take care of my father, right? And Narsingadev says, don't you worry, because 21 generations before and 21 generations after are going to be liberated. That's one very important quality of a devotee, right? Whoever is doing bad to us, we should remember that they're delivering our karma. That's it. And that's what we want to be very clear, sure of. Like, that kuch bhi ho jaye, this is my bad time is going on. We keep continue to do good to others, right? Um, yeah, and so kind of bringing everything together, bringing the essence, like I was mentioning earlier on the call, this instruction is very specific to a woman, because like we discussed, at this point, her husband, she's enjoyed Devahuti has enjoyed with her husband for over 100 years. And once Kapila is in her womb, he's saying, I'm going to leave, because I had told this to you when I got married to you, that I'm going to leave. And when she's fearful, she tells her husband, I just missed out on asking these questions to you. And then Kapila Dev guides us. And after going through all of the 18 chapters we have gone through, the last chapter, which is the essence, is really devotional service. Engaging in devotional service with Lord, practicing the qualities that I just discussed about, like non being envious, taking everything as a blessing of Lord, understanding why we are here, and understanding the process that we go back, right? So that's the whole essence of the whole teachings of Lord Kapila. Today is also Gopal Bhatta Goswami's disappearance day. So, what I also wanted to do was, I know time runs fast. We are at about 7:40. We have about 20 minutes left. I wanted to take some time and glorify Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Can we do that, and we can do the questions towards the end of the class? Is that okay with everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So today is a very auspicious day again. Today is the disappearance of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So I want to tell the story of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami is son of Venkat Bhatta from the Ranganathan temple, right? I've gone to Ranganathan when I was very, very young. We have the Vishnu deity kind of lying on the Sheshnag there. Right, and Venkat Bhatta is a very strong devotee, is a Lakshmi Narayan devotee, right? So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again is in his South India Yatra, he meets Venkat Bhatta. And when he enters the temple of Ranganathan, he's dancing and, he is dancing in the kirtan. And that's when Gopal gets extremely attracted towards Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Venkat Bhatta also realizes that he is a very elevated devotee. So he requests Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to stay with him during the rainy season. So currently, what's happening is the rainy season in India. It's a monsoon season, right? So what people do generally, they stay at one place and they do a lot more devotional service because, like we discussed earlier, we just had the Ashadi Ekadashi. So that's when Lord Vishnu, it's believed, that takes rest, and then we have a Ekadashi in Kartik when the lords, all of the gods including Lord Vishnu, rise, right? So during this time we all intensify our devotional service. So he requested Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to please come and stay with him. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was staying at Venkat Bhatta's house, and Gopal is his son. And Gopal is very nicely serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's eating his remnants. He's getting very attached to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is leaving, actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu extends his stay because of this young boy Gopal, and he's saying he's crying when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is leaving, and he's saying, "I want to go with you, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu." So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, "No, you cannot leave with me. When you grow up and you've done all your duties, then you come to Vrindavan and stay with me there." Right. So that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells him. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu leaves, and he instructs him to stay with his parents and take care of his parents and whatnot. So the boy Gopal grows up, he becomes very learned, he takes care of his parents. And when, so Venkat Bhatta tells him that when I pass away, you go to Vrindavan. So when Venkat Bhatta and his wife, they pass away, their son Gopal Bhatta goes to Vrindavan. So there he meets, the other Goswamis, and he's rendering his devotional service then there. So Gopal Bhatta has about, I think he travels and he collects 12 Shaligram Shilas. So he's carrying them in this cloth, cloth bag that's he's always hanging it around his neck, right? So one night he hangs it on the tree. He's sleeping under the tree, and he goes to the river, and he comes back. So when he comes back, he opens the bag and he sees that one of the shaligram is actually converted into Radha Raman deity, right? So it's actually a self-manifested deity from one of the shaligram Shira. So then Gopal Bhatta Goswami, he establishes the Radharaman temple in Vrindavan, which is very popular. When we go to Vrindavan, we all go there. And actually, so he renders service over there. I don't think he meets Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that time is in Puri. But he stays in Vrindavan. He does a lot of devotional service there. And, that's a very crisp story of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So that's all I had to share for today. Are there any questions? I know there were a lot of stories I shared, especially so that, it sticks to everybody.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Mataji, thank you so much today. It was really a wonderful class. We learned so much about Tukaram Maharaj and, of course, Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Then I just wanted to share that, like when you mentioned that there is this step in the temple in Pandharpur, where Tukaram wanted to be. Similar step in the Tirupati temple where Kulshekara, who wrote the Mukundamala, wanted to be a step in the temple, and so devotees will step over him. So we still have that step there, which is called the Kulshekara step. So just thank you for giving us so much information about Tukaram Maharaj. Just wanted to share that with you.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Mataji. Yeah, I wasn't aware. I went to Tirupati, but I was not sure. But thank you so much for sharing that. I felt that was so profound, right? Like somebody, he is an like I was saying, like when we chant, when we say Harinam, that is Nam Rupa, right? It is a person. When we actually chant, we should be praying to this Nam Rupa. And Tukaram Maharaj is what I was hearing is an incarnation of this Ram Rupa into this material world. And we step on this Nama Pairi, like this Nam step, and go into the temple. And for us to reach that level is so high, so elevated. But that's how devotees are. They don't want any credit for themselves. Amrita Prananda Prabhu, I see him. He's also doing the shoe seva in the temple. And I was telling him the other day, like he's the incarnation of Tukaram Maharaj, because that's really a lot. It's a big seva. I feel it's very humble seva, right? Like you are, like I was saying, Tukaram Maharaj, when he was giving classes, he would be not in the class. He would be outside putting everybody's shoes away. That's a very exalted service.
Yeah, it's very hard to attain that humility, Mataji. One thing that we always struggle with is lack of humility and the envy. We cannot get rid of those two. Yes.
Yeah, I completely agree. Envy is hard. It's hard to get rid of. But like I was mentioning earlier about always thinking when we keep on praising others, when we see somebody, just keep on praising for anything good they have, right? Because if somebody in the world is going to have more money than you, somebody's going to have more beauty than you, somebody is going to have more fame than you. There is a saying, right? There's a Marathi saying, but I don't think everyone will understand, so I won't say that. But we always should be praising them for that, and then that good quality will come to us, because we're naturally envious. All of us are. So
yeah, an association of devotees is a big boon, and
yeah, I completely agree.
and there is progress. There's progress.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much for sharing that.
I know that the Tukaram Maharaj also, Vitthal used to come and help him in the kitchen even when a lot of devotee used to come to their house, and he took the in charge of the kitchen.
Yeah. There are so many stories of Tukaram. We can go for days and days, how Vitthal would serve him. I also wanted to share that, there's one thing that he had said and which always has stuck to my brain because we grew up listening to things, is Nindakache ghari as ave shezari. So that means a person who criticizes you should always stay next to you. That's what Tukaram Maharaj says. Because the people,
somebody was spitting on him and he went to took a shower 21 times. I heard that.
That was Eknath Maharaj.
Oh, that was it.
Okay. But from Maharashtra only.
Yeah.
With Eknath Maharaj also it happened that Shikhandi. Yeah, he was there to fill the water and he was taking care of it like a servant. He was staying and he didn't know also that Vitthal is staying, like residing with him. So it's really amazing. So Krishna is always with us. We don't have that divine eyes to see. Maybe
See
he's
him.
around us, but we don't know. Right? We are not that stage. We don't have that divine eye. That's why.
Yeah, because Krishna loves us so much. Exactly. He loves us so much that he's there. And so many times, I think I've shared with you guys, once I had an accident and from nowhere, one lady came to me, standing next to me the second minute. And she was like, I'm going to be with you until you go in the ambulance. I'm not going to leave you. I've never met that person again. I don't know where she came, what is no, I don't even know how she appeared there. And then she stayed with me. And I didn't even think about Krishna, honestly, to be frank with you. I was calling my daughter, I was calling my husband. Nobody was picking up. I was like, somebody take me from here. But she, without calling Krishna, when I sat in the ambulance, I thought about Krishna. Till then, I didn't even think about Krishna. I was just trying, like, calling people, like, phoning people, calling 911. I did everything. And I never thought about Krishna. And I was like, who was that person? Who was that person? I'm sitting here, who came and she hugged me. She was like, don't fear. Let's call the ambulance. Let's take pictures. And she was there. So he can appear anytime, anywhere, right? Through people, through other devotees.
Also, recently, in I think South Africa or somewhere, that little girl, she was singing, nursing a prayer and playing, and like in front of her house, and one truck just was passing by,
Yeah.
and she got some scratches. So her parents took her to hospital, and she was not having any injury, but some like nails, like marks
On
on
her
her
back.
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 Yeah, so
Yeah.
doctor said nothing happened to her. And then when she got up, like she came to like conscious state, and she said, "Oh, I don't know. One lion came and he just took me." So nursing of Bhagwan. So see, now also it's coming for everyone. Only we were not realizing. That's the thing.
He,
Right.
he does some. Yeah.
It does.
Mataji, where you're sitting, like, where you're sitting in the back, like I have a true story for you too. My daughter fell from there, right? When she was 1 year old, and nothing happened to her. So I was like, how did that even happen, right? Like I feel like Narshinga Dev came and picked her up, because we hear
Yeah.
kids just fall from here and they get so much hurt, right? She fell on her head all the way from there, like 14 feet or whatever, and nothing happened. So we see Krishna, like I think we need to start believing that, yeah, Krishna is here, Krishna is coming, Krishna is protecting, Krishna is giving. Like, that it is so important for us to realize, because we just keep it away. And I just feel Krishna somewhere must be feeling, I'm here. Why are you not even recognizing me, or why are you not seeing me? So that's so important.
I think everyone has all these experiences, right?
Yeah.
Because when I was carrying Sania, same thing. I was just holding Bhagavad Gita, and I had three miscarriages, right? Before that. And it was very critical pregnancy. I was totally bedridden. But I was just saying, Krishna, you can hold Govardhan Hill on your pinky. You cannot hold little
Yeah.
fish in my belly, in my womb. And it was really like a gift of Krishna only. Means finally I got Sanya because of Krishna. I strongly believe it's about all faith. If we tell people who don't know about Krishna, they will say, "Oh, it's all this like nonsense thing." But
Coincidence, anything. They will say anything.
yeah, and when somebody talks about Krishna or Radha, something today I was talking to my friend and she said about living relationship. Oh, what's big deal about really living relationship? Radha and Krishna also they were in living. I felt so bad. I said no, you didn't know about Radha and Krishna. We also don't talk about their love. They are from Golok Dham and husband and wife. And they got married also, so we don't know. We should not talk. Also, we can't tolerate if somebody says,
Yeah, there is a
"Oh,
lot of you're so right. There is a lot of, like, when I talk to people, there's so many misconceptions about Krishna, especially like,
no,
16,000 gopis, his relationship with Radha. And then they think, and that's why they don't even consider him as God. And there's so much that happens in the
I
world.
know,
But there are also people that on the other side, who have so much love towards the God, and they understand that he's God. So there is all a mixed bag of people. I
makes
think the people who don't know, they don't want to know, is what I've
I,
seen. They
and even
don't they don't
Krishna
want
doesn't
to.
reveal them. Krishna also
Yeah.
doesn't reveal them. We understand time didn't come yet.
They're
That's it.
not ripe. It's not a ripe fruit at this
Right.
point. So
Yes.
even I don't crack. And they want to enjoy their own stuff, right? So they
I
follow
know.
something
Yeah.
very easy. They want to follow something easy where they can drink, they can do like whatever they want to do, right? They can
Yeah. They
do.
say like that. Sai Baba is saying you can eat meat. You can cook meat at home. I don't think Sai Baba was telling like this.
No, he's a Dattatreya's in the lineage of Dattatreya, even like Swami Samartha, and all of them.
But I don't
They never
think
told that.
that,
They
right?
don't know. No saintly person is going to tell you
Nobody
to,
will say like that, kill animals and eat them. No.
yeah.
I think Amritananda Prabhuji raised his hand since
Oh, he
long time.
did. I'm so sorry, Prabhuji. If you want to ask a question or comment or critique, whatever, bro.
Hey Krishna Mataji, please accept it's all Krishna. Um, my question is somewhat on topic and off topic also, since it's all talking about Grasti, home, and how householders should live. Now, in our present times, it is both the male and the female, both are working, both go out to work. Unlike the Vedic times where the Matajis would take care of the children, raise them, but now the Matajis are working. However, in most households, including our Hare Krishna households, the male, I don't know if it's a question of the male ego or whatever it may be, that Mataji will go to work and come home in the evening and make chapatis, and her responsibility is the food. Her responsibility is raising the children. So what is it that the male should recognize? Now, yes, if the assumption for the male is that I go out and work, I do bahar ka kaam, outside work, the lady does the housework. But when there is the Matajis who are going out and working, the Prabhus, many cases, they don't share the responsibility. So what would, in your realization, what should the Prabhu be doing and not have that male attitude, chauvinistic, so to say? What would you say would be the right, Krishna conscious way? Suppose it's a devotee, and this happens with devotees also.
Yeah, you that's such a timely, pertinent, question, Prabhu. I'm going to give my personal viewpoint, right? And actually, not only this is not even a problem in devotee circle, but even in non-devotee circle, right? For females, it's just like example, the 9 to 5 time slot that is done. And I was just on a woman in leadership session, and we were talking about this. It's the 9 to 5 slot is made with I guess a mindset that the man works and the woman is home, right? Because it's very hard, like going into work. And thank God, like these days there are remote jobs, there are flexible times and whatnot. But even like if you see summer is going on, the kids are going to summer camp and it ends at 3. So what about the women who are working, right? What about the meetings after that? How is a woman expected to do it? She's managing the kid and the meeting and the home. So there's a lot on the women. But I also want to say that women are more, I don't know, this is recorded in live. I personally feel they are more skilled, more, they're Shakti, right, Prabhu? They're Shakti. So they are more, she is Shakti, right? She's not that she's going to get Shakti from someone. She is more competent. She's more powerful than the male counterpart, right? She can handle multiple stuff. Like she can juggle a lot of stuff. So even if you see if it's project management, women are very good project managers because they can switch gears. They can, okay, let's do this, let's do that, let's do that. But if it's a man, they're very good developers or something. You give them one task, they will do it so nicely. Like, they will do it very nicely. Typically, in general, there are exceptions in both cases. But that's a quality that a woman has. So I think that's how the society, what has happened is women were doing household and they said, okay, we're going to go out and work because whatever, sometimes it's her choice, sometimes it's a situation of the family. She took on these more responsibilities, but I'm completely with you where we never took away okay, let's share this 50-50 kind of a thing. It does happen in a lot of families where the husbands cook, husbands take care of the kids, they change diapers, they get groceries, they do a lot of stuff, but there are a few houses that is not done. I feel it's very personal to a female. If she feels that she's not enough supported, she should raise a concern at her home with her husband and get that support that she's looking for. And if a female is comfortable doing everything, then maybe there is other ways that the husband is supporting her that we are not aware of. It's very up to them. But I always feel that women are more skilled. Maybe is a task to do multiple things versus men. Right? Sometimes they will think, oh, it's better I only do it. Otherwise, they're going to do everything wrong. I tell you, I send my husband, I know it's while recorded, I send my husband to take my daughter for soccer class. He took her in a different class, not even on her level. The kids are small babies, and he played and they came back before the class is over. So I thought, oh my God, rather I take her, and I was busy with something. So things like this happen. I know I see a few people laughing. But these things happen. So I think it's very personal to everybody. But a female, if she feels she's not, supported, then she should raise that with her husband. Like we see in this story also, right? Where Devahuti, right? She is just serving her husband so nicely. And at the end, the husband realizes that, oh, you are become so fragile. You've lost all the beauty that you had, that you were a princess one time. And, I as a husband should be giving you what you deserve, right? You wanted children, so we should be, having children and everything. And then I was actually reading Bhagavatam, and it is such a beautiful description, where he tells her, you enter this lake. I think it's Manasam Sarovar, and she enters that ocean, that thing, and there are a lot of female maidservants who kind of change her completely. And it was like a fairy tale to me, like how she can enter into and a lake, and where she completely gets transformed, and she comes out with all of these maidservants, and her husband has created for her this whole big mansion that can fly around the world, right? So I think as a man, they also have responsibility to see that, like what is missing and what their partner is looking for, and provide that. Yeah, I hope this answers, Prabhuji. Is he there?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
was looking more from Mataji's perspective, because what happens is when Mataji's raise this, and what my not concern, or what I've been observing, progressive generations, the tolerance level, separation rates, divorce rates are just escalating. Earlier, it was a thing which was just for the, so to say, the Western phenomena. But now even Indian couples, I know so many in my family where these separations and things are happening. And the root cause comes down to the level of tolerance. And
Yeah.
and me being a male, I would say, is the chauvinism on the male part couldn't care less. And as you said, if the Mataji brings it up, that brings up to a lot of discord, and the male ego gets wounded, and let's call it quits. Matajis are more attached to the kids, no doubt, of course. So from a Mataji's perspective, how would how to balance both the family life, professional life, expectations from the spouse? From that perspective, I was looking.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even in it doesn't matter, Hare Krishna, non-Hare Krishna, Hindu, Muslim, Christian. This thing is just happening. Zero tolerance. Zero
Yeah.
tolerance. I think it was Simeshwar Prabhu was saying love at first sight, divorce at first fight.
Yeah.
So that idea I was trying to get, how Mataji see this problem.
Yeah, the way Prabhuji, and anyone can chime in, if with their inputs. The way I look at it, Prabhu, is always looking at stuff from a bigger perspective, right? If you want to keep the family together, a lot of people go through a lot of phases, right? People have, people get married at different ages, right? So their whole, what I feel is the first couple years in any relationship are the foundation, because in that relation, 2 years, whatever you set, it sets a tone for the whole life, right? A lot of things get hashed out in those first 2 years. So it's very important to I know even in the earlier times, there was people used to. It was not just a marriage between the two, a boy and a girl, right? It was a marriage between the whole family, towns, a society, and they knew somebody. Okay, this is a good match for this person, right? Like this is they. This person, this female is so and so, and this man is so and so. It's a good fit. Like what happened here in Devahuti? She heard from Narad Muni, okay, Kandamum is so and so and so. So she knew what he was. And then she was like, oh, he's a perfect match for me, right? So there was many people brains went in there to make those marriages. These days, people meet somewhere else. There's also these matrimonial sites where people don't reveal what they're doing. I don't know if you've seen on Netflix that there are so many series that are going on, like Indian matchmaking and whatnot and whatnot. It's like mind-boggling. It's like what is going on, right? So that is all happening. But what if you are, if any person in any relationship, I think what they should look at it is step away and look at it from a broader perspective, right? Like it is just not between both of you. There are so many people involved. It's your kids, your parents, your families, your community, everybody's involved. And maybe a person, maybe it's a husband, maybe it's a wife, they're going through some bad phase in their life, right? So if we don't, like Radha Swami Maharaj says, right, if I don't forgive you, like how will Krishna forgive me? So that whole forgiveness factor just comes in, and becoming that bigger person, and not getting impacted with trivial things, like ignoring them, I think is what really helps in long run. Like ignoring the thing, everybody is going to be a character, right? Like they say men are from Mars and women are from Venus. Like they're two different creatures living together, right? And so you cannot stay like two roommates, because two roommates will not stay too long, right? There's a limit to that. When you're in a marriage, there's a lot of forgiveness, love. So many things go on, right? In a relationship. So really looking at that broader perspective is so important, because divorce is not a solution. If one person, you're not happy with one person, what's the guarantee that the second person is going to give you happiness, right? How many different relationships are you going to try? Like at the end of the day, people don't know what they want, is what I've seen. Like, they don't even know what they want. Like I've seen people marry 3 times, and what I'm like, what do you want? They don't know when you meet them. They're so confused. They're just going and they're pushing the can. They don't know. So knowing yourself is so important. Spending time with yourself, understanding what you are is important. And I feel nobody can give you happiness. Nobody can make you happy. You have to make yourself happy, right? You have to find that happiness within yourself. When you do that, nobody can hurt you, nobody can impact you, because people are always having this expectation that my husband will make me happy, my wife will make me happy. Oh, look, his wife is cooking so nice, why is not my wife cooking? Or look, that husband is earning so much, why are you not earning? Look, he's taking care of kids, why are you not? That comparison is the fastest way to sorrow, they say, right? You compare someone, that's the fastest way you're going to get sorrow, because there's somebody in the world who's going to be having something more than you, right? So really understanding these concepts is so important in life. Like, don't compare, forgive, and find happiness within yourself. Like कोई किसी को खुश नहीं कर सकता. And the biggest important thing is, if you have that relationship with God, right? You have that relationship with Krishna, you're getting tons of love from Krishna. So you're not looking for any additional love. Your pot is already filled. So if somebody pays attention to you, doesn't pay attention to you, somebody takes you out for a vacation, doesn't take you out for a vacation, somebody does something for you or doesn't do for you, it doesn't impact you, because you're happy yourself, right? And it's not only husband wife. I've seen, like, when kids grow up here in this country too, like, it's in any relationship this happens basically, right? Like people have their own life, and you cannot expect that person, that thing is going to give me happiness. So finding happiness within yourself is really the key, I feel. And having that connection with Krishna, and getting that your own pot filled, your love pot getting filled by Krishna is very important.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Very nice question. Thank you so much. It stirred up a lot of conversation. Thank you so much for keeping it so interesting. Thank you.
Hare
So we are a
Krishna,
little
if I
past.
may just say something.
Sure.
I think one thing is very important, which I've realized, is that we have taught our daughters to reach for the sky. We said you can be
Mm-hmm.
anything you want. You can literally land on the moon, go in space, become engineers, doctors, what have you.
Yeah.
But we have not taught our sons
Mm.
to take part in household chores. And that is where I think we in the sense, not you, me, mothers, fathers, we as society have
Yeah.
fallen short, where we've not taught the sons that, okay, you do it. If the daughter's husband helps the daughter, oh, he's so nice.
So,
What a
yeah.
lovely son-in-law he is. But if your son helps his wife, oh, he's henpecked. Joru ka
Yeah.
gulam. That is the
Yeah.
attitude we parents all means most of us have. And
Yeah.
I think where the divorce rates and discord has arisen is because earlier the man was a provider
Mm.
and the woman was under his shelter. But
Yeah.
now, since women have become equally or more financially stable than the husband, the tolerance level has gone down.
Yeah.
They feel, that what if I'm doing this, if you're doing this, so am I. So what's the big deal? So I don't
Yeah.
need you anymore now. And
So
that
what's
is
the
where,
Krishna
so I
conscious?
think it's, sorry?
What's the Krishna conscious approach to such a situation that daughters are taught to reach the sky, but the sons are not taught to make dal fry? Right.
That
I
is good
think it's
rhyming, Prabhu.
we have to teach both, that there's no chore or no duty which is mutually exclusive. And if we want, the thing is, everybody wants Sitas and Rams, but they are not the counterpart. If you want Sita, you have to be Ram, and if you want Ram, then you have to be Sita, which we are not. So the question is, as a society, are we willing to tell our daughters to be more submissive and be more, lead the Vedic life? And are we willing to tell our sons that, okay, you also become more Vedic? And, it's a very difficult place we are in. And I think, as for Krishna conscious solution is tolerance. What Radhanath Maharaj says, Trinadapi Sunichena.
Sunichena.
That's
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah, and really vetting out, right? Really figuring out when the marriages are happening, even within the community and whatnot. Like, is that a good match? How are they raised? And everybody taking that responsibility, right? Like, okay, I have a son, daughter, doesn't matter. They have to be raised in the same way, household chores and whatnot. I see more happening in India when I go back. There is more, you know, uh, more of that happening there. Here, at least, anyways, people, men are putting out garbage. There is, they are helping out in some way or the other. But when I go there, I'm like, oh gosh, how is this, how is this going to work out? But that's a very valid concern, Prabhu, that you're raising.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And very well explained, Sachirani, the way you were explaining, so true, so true. I guess the responsibility is on us. The responsibility is on us to raise our sons and daughters equally.
I have to drop off. Reaching home now. Hare Krishna. Thank
Yeah.
you for everything. Thank you, everybody. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. So I think we'll end too. We are at the hour. We'll just do our Vaishnava prayer and then we can end. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhu bhaivacha patitananu pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Vaishnav
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Great class.
Thank you.
Hari Bol.
Thank you, Gokula.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Nice class.
Very
Thank you.
nice.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you
Hari-
so much. Thank you. Hari Bol.